Fischer random. It's good to be white on chess cube because you get time to think and your time isn't ticking. So I'm going to take all day right here. All day, not really. Let's start out with this because I love having my knight right behind a pawn. This can quickly turn into a very normal looking position. Let's do that. Sneak attack on the rook. Okay. Black is inconvenienced by having to play this square because this knight now is scratching his head. He wonders where his home is going to be. Oh, for a second I thought this bishop could come here and give check. That is not my king there. There is no fear of a bishop giving check if he gets to a4. So my plan here is to fianchetto. I want to castle kingside. So my knight is going to go here. Or no. I don't know if I really am going to go kingside. Rodrigo Ma guessed the magic number 47. So that's why we are doing battle here. Let's get my knights out. Classic squares. Who could argue with that? Control all 4 center squares if you have your knights here and here. G3 bishop G2 or E3 bishop E2. Or maybe I reserve my options. Let's do this and get my bishop to the only square that he could go to. I'm trying to be flexible with this move order. Having a flexible move order allows, or it makes your opponent guess a little bit more, doesn't it? Let's do this. In case there are IDs of B5, I could take and win a pawn. Exchange queens first after A takes B. I'm not worried about that. Let me get my bishop here. Queen here would threaten this pawn. Look at her. What a sneaky piece. Bishop here. Maybe I do without. Maybe I do without. No, you know what? I want to counterattack. Get out of there. Okay, now that I'm going to. That's a pinned pawn, so I'm going to attack it with a pawn that's worth a little bit less than the B pawn. Do I capture the pinned piece? I see no reason to right away. If the queen gets out of the pin, then I'll snip that pawn. Ooh, what a sneaky move. So much for that. Okay, well, oh man, this pawn's gonna capture and this queen's gonna get this right now. That was a sneaky move. Bishop h6, who does that? Who moves their bishop twice? You shouldn't be violating these principles. You're supposed to be not considering this out of the box stuff. E3, knight here, and he starts to give me a headache. Ah. Okay, let's chop here. Oh, no, I have an easy solution. What was I getting all worked up about? Queen takes here, I play c5. I slam the door on the queen. I hit the queen with the no soup for you move. c5 is that move. No soup for you, and the soup is f2. Bishop g2 next, and very long castle. I also have potential tricks against the rook over here, who's struggling to do something constructive. I also have this move. I could get the light square bishop, and then queen here, and what do I have as a reply? Not much. Maybe next. Now we're gonna go here. Let's go. Because I want my bishop to see the world. Queen here. Do I take right away, or do I play this? Probably just take right away. Oh, fork. Where is she going to go? This has to be good. At the end of, if the queen is ended up recapturing on this square, I get a6. The queen has a role of watching over a6. What if I do that? Setting some dangerous things up. My knight is within striking distance. And by striking distance, I mean checking distance. 2 different squares. Good potential. Check here. He's defended. I still can't capture here. Let's make sure I long castle. There we go. I have all my pieces working. And I could look into moves. No, not like that. The rook is defended now by the knight. We're about even. 20 seconds difference on the clock. Where's the safe home for black? That's not the safe home. That's definitely not a safe home. This is a very good square for my knight. And now that this king is running for his life, this pawn I'm viewing as insignificant. Who cares about that pawn? Let's open the position up. I don't care about that pawn grab. I want to open the position up, and I was actually missing that. My opponent could take here, and I didn't realize with that sequence of moves my bishop was shut out of the game. Why didn't I see that? I think it should still be quite alright. This pawn is not going anywhere. This knight is stuck, although it could play here. Now, if it plays here, I take. This knight is not, he doesn't have any home. He doesn't have any squares. Neither does this. Just realizing these two details. Important details. Neither of these pieces can move. This knight can't move too far. So I could take here, and now this knight again can't move. Rook here, I guess, is needed, but now I'm really looking to hack away at that d7 pawn with simple doubling, maybe even tripling up on the d file. My worst piece is my bishop on g2. The knight here is defended, and now I'm actually threatening mate. Oh, I had a mate. No, I could have taken with my queen. Queen takes, rook takes here would have been a cool finish. This was the last square that the king could maybe go to. Yeah, now he's running. Oh, no, I just got this now. They cut off the circulation, or the communication there, between e5. That's busted now. That's a knight down and soon to be a rook down. Yeah, I had one move earlier. I didn't have to double my rooks on the d file. I had queen takes e5, queen takes queen, and then rook takes on d7, mate. Again, after that move. So this queen is pinned. It's not really going to matter much here. Let me just take. And now I'll take this pawn. I'm threatening tricky stuff here. And just the capture of the knight. So this is the mopping up phase. Have a material edge and want to keep it squeaky clean here. Super simple. That's a discovered check. Keep it simple. Do not complicate things. And now chase that rook away so I can grab the knight. There's no fear of any back rank stuff either. I always have bishop block. Pawn push, f3, anything at this point. Soon to be mate. Mate in 3. 1, 2, 3. Or 1. Alright. Good game, Rodrigo. Let's I was just ready to close out. Let's go back. I think my first quick point is to don't try your best not to be inconvenienced by this threat. If you can still develop a piece and meet my threat, certainly consider it. And so what I'm getting at is knight f6 is likely much better. It became very awkward for you to complete development by when you had a pawn on f6. And maybe that's my main point, and maybe a suggestion for myself is to stop thinking about playing a single square, and maybe I can already start to look into taking advantage of my lead in development. It's a slight one, but it's still there. It's still present. d4, welcoming more exchanges. Maybe this was a little bit better on my part, but d3 isn't bad. And like I was saying during the game, this idea of keeping flexibility with d3, bishop d2, and I'm still not sure. I'm not showing my hand with where I will develop my bishop. Will it be e3, bishop e2, or g3, bishop g2? I waited on that, and I got a little too nervous here, and finally I realized that this is a perfectly fine response. This game, I think, is already close to maybe being over. There's just a big, it's not harmonious on the black side, and I'm 2 moves away from having all my pieces working. This is a potential target. This is a potential vulnerability since he's unprotected, and my queen is essentially developed without having to have moved, just because of the certain pawn advances that took place. My a pawn running up to a5. It's a way to develop your rooks in a regular chess game where they're starting on the A or H files, advancing the rook pawns and making exchanges. Just all of a sudden now they're developed. But yeah, I think this is already dating back. It may sound weird, but it's already starting to become a bit weird, or a bit awkward for this f6, for you to complete development when you're playing f6 instead of something more natural. That's one of the big things that I'm looking into when I'm playing these Fischer random games, is how can I organize my pieces in a way where things remain harmonious. And that's really what you're needing to do, I think, because if you're not, there's big trouble around, it seems, every corner. And c6, well, again, I think it's still just very difficult at this point, but this is just giving my knight a great home. Open the position when you have a lead in development, and this was the last point I was saying during the game. After rook to d8, I do have queen takes knight, queen takes queen, rook takes pawn would be mate, but didn't quite see that in time. Alrighty, good game, Rodrigo.